What's up, everybody? This is Arkansas Mud Kings. I just got home from that jeeping trip, and I had this right here waiting on my front porch. So if you know what that means, we only got the primary, but we did get an STM primary clutch. Here's this clutch right here. We have the 3P STM Rage 3 clutch. This is gonna finally get all the power to the ground from the Renegade. We have it sitting in here, just sitting in the garage right now, pulled apart. We were having some electrical issues. Just right as you open the garage, there's this baby. But yeah, finally getting all the power to the ground, and especially with this nitrous, it's just a must-have upgrade. We went straight from four-wheeling to jeeping, so we have mud everywhere still. I did buy a pressure washer, and I bought a bunch more tools, so we're gonna be able to completely work on this thing, get everything done right. Garage is a little tight, but we are working on cleaning stuff up. It's mostly mowing, and then I've got like a box of gear. But here are those clutches. We were smoking the clutches a bit last ride out. Kind of to be expected. Running 33's by 9.5s. It's like a 78-pound tire and wheel setup on each rim. Just smoked it a little bit. I'm not seeing any rough patches, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this belt replaced. We're gonna have to get a new battery. The plastics, I had a passenger on here, and somehow the plastics just got pushed up against that exhaust, so it really melted these plastics. But you can kind of see how dark those clutches are. I had just taken this cover off and cleaned it, so this is all from that last ride where everything's just kind of, you can see that's just belt right there. But yeah, we're gonna get this thing pulled apart. I'm so excited about this. This is gonna be a good little upgrade. And my buddy on 32.5 Outlaw 2s has a CV Tech primary and no secondary, so we can see the difference between that STM and the CV Tech, which I have not seen a review on YouTube about yet. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put a 19mm over that right there. I'm gonna use an impact and take this off, and this is going to back the front half of this off. You're gonna have to use a clutch puller to get the back of it off. Either STM provides one, or you can get one from Can-Am. And just so you know, that is spring-loaded, but it is not nearly as spring-loaded as the secondary. The secondary is where a lot of the spring is, and so you need to really put pressure on that. But with the primary, it's not near as bad, so you don't have to. It's not as necessary for you to be applying pressure to it. We just got this in from Hubbard ATV. It is one of the clutch pullers, so we're gonna put this thing to use. First things first, you're gonna hand tighten this in because you do not want to strip these threads out. It is an absolute pain. It is very far down in there. You're gonna have to get them just right. So we're gonna hand tighten this all the way in, then we're gonna use a 19mm and the impact to get it the rest of the way off. All right, it is now hand tight. So we're gonna throw this 19mm on and use the impact to get it the rest of the way off. This one, I don't believe has ever been off of this bike, so it's gonna be a little bit harder. What I might end up doing is putting a little bit of water or a little bit of bread down in this, just to build up a little bit of compression and just give that extra little bit of pressure to push this off of the bike. Yeah, it is just not wanting to do anything at all. Give it a couple more, just see if we can get this thing to get that last little bit to pull off of there. Yeah, it's stuck on there pretty good. Yeah, I don't think this thing's coming off. See if we can back this thing out. Yeah. We're gonna put a little bit of something down in there and see if we can get that extra little pressure to build up. Get that thing off of there. All right, I put a little bit of water in there. We're gonna see, hand tighten this in and then put the impact on it. See what we can do. Just like that. See, just a little bit of water, and I got it right off of there. So now we're going to take the STM and start throwing it on. Now, one thing I never saw on STM site, but someone did recommend me do, is to clean everything up, of course. But then once I put it on there, I'm going to rotate it around back and forth a couple times to kind of let it seat down in there really well. I'll show you what I mean by that. But you can also see this is the exhaust for the belt. So that is what is forcing everything up and out of there. Or that may be, I think that is the intake. And so that's what these fans on the back are for. Never knew that. All right, I'm gonna slide this thing on here. And then just rotate it around. Just do this. They said do that, pull it off, and clean it. And do that about 3 times. So I'm just gonna time lapse this and show that I do it all 3 times. All right, now first I'm gonna hand tighten this in, just make it a little easier. And we're gonna look at the sheet and see exactly what we're supposed to torque this down to. All right, so now this bolt is a 10 millimeter. We're gonna put a little bit of this blue thread locker or Loctite onto this and get this thing torqued down. We'll torque it down with a torque wrench down to 80 foot-pounds. Now first we're gonna hand tighten it because you do not want to cross thread this thing. And I'm gonna push against this and I can get just a little bit more. So, line it up right there. So I'm gonna push and I can get just a little bit more, not much, but a little bit. All right, we now have this ready, set at 80 foot-pounds. We're gonna tighten this down. Best if you have something to kind of hold this back, but I do not. So close. Now what I'm gonna do, just to kind of get a little bit of extra leverage on this thing, I'm gonna put a hammer with a rubber back and put it right here, or a screwdriver or something, and pin it down right there. So it's not going to affect the actual weights, and it's not gonna scuff this up at all because it's rubber, but this is just an empty milled out hole. So we're going to pin something there so it's not gonna be moving on us like that. All right, this is how I ended up doing it. Pinned it against the frame so it's not gonna move. And then the rubber right there. Okay, there's 80 pounds. Check again. All right. So we now have this primary installed. Now we have to just wiggle that up and out. And there you are. We have this beautiful primary installed. We are still waiting on the belt. It comes in a couple days. but we have a Maverick belt that we're gonna throw on here, OEM one. So I'm pretty excited about that. You can see I did not scuff that up at all. Focus. That's not scuffed up at all. And so did its job perfectly. Oh yeah, decided to throw a belt on here and get this thing on the road again. We were still having electrical issues, but at least we were fast now.